Hello everybody, this is Jenkins Dota here, and bringing you another Dota 2 video with my friend here, Sir Newsham Dota. Hello?
Oh, that's a terrible intro.
I don't know how to be alive anymore. Anyway, in this video, we're going to be talking about position 4s that are good. This is a position 4 tier list, and I'm going to let Newsham do most of the talking because he's a position 4 player, and he got really mad when he saw my tier list, and he made me change it to this one. So this is basically his. I'll just read off the heroes, and you can basically just tell me why they're good. Rubik, okay. Tiny, Windranger, Phoenix, S tier.
All right, so Rubik, I just think the same reasons as before. He's just a really stable hero pick right now. Roaming is a bit better in this patch, so he's not that great at doing that, but he is really good at winning his lane, and in the mid game, if you're, you know, some Yapsor or something, and you're really good at stealing spells, he's just amazing. Like, I don't even know how to explain. He just does stuff that other heroes can't, just because of spell steal. But with that said, you do have to have good spells to steal, which most games you will in this meta. Everyone who's picked right now, you know, the Void Spirits and all that stuff, just very good, especially Sand King and Mars, all the offlaners. That's my argument for Rubik.
Hey, basically just does every other hero better than they do themselves. Yeah,
basically,
that's the old.
And then you win your lane.
Yeah, the El Clasico with Rubik, and the percentage damage reduction is kind of cool too, because it makes it so that you counter Terrorblades and stuff, which there's a lot of those illusion guys being picked. Okay, what about this guy?
Tiny is just one of the best roamers right now in general. I don't know what exactly happened. I guess it's the change to Avalanche again, it being faster projectile, but he is, I don't know, he feels broken. That's for sure.
No?
Toss is just, it's like a better Pudge. It's reliable, unlike Pudge. And killing people in the mid lane especially.
Oh, don't do my boy like that. Don't.
Yeah. Well, the best part about Tiny is you just bounce between one side lane and mid, usually. Like, if your off lane isn't that great, you can't kill or off lane, you just kind of walk to the safe lane, and usually someone will get some sort of impact from you walking between two lanes, constantly throwing people around and stunning them.
Yeah.
He does fall off a bit, but man, in the early game, if they don't have cloaks and stuff, and you can just combo people, you will blow people up.
I was going to say,
so hard.
Like, do you really fall off when you can kind of, like, one-hit supports, and even if you can't, you still toss people out.
Right, and you have a stun, so even if you aren't playing well or you're not popping off, you still are you're useful.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's he's Avalanche and Toss. that's about it. That's Tiny, but he does good stuff with those. All right, sell me on this one, because I feel like she pops off a lot of the time because it's pubs and people get Monkey King bars and people just play her like a core.
Well, here's my argument. I think people figured out that Meteor Hammer isn't just a Train Protector item. You already saw it on Phoenix, and people started to figure out on Windrunner as well. And basically, you don't have to always commit to this, like, MKB, Yapsor, you're basically the offlaner type deal. Which is good, right? You don't want to always have to rely on you popping off, because sometimes the enemy just doesn't let you kill them or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think Power Shot is straight up busted. The amount of damage it does is it's just way too much, especially with the talent. Basically, people realize trying to tunnel vision on this idea that you're going to get MKB and get attack range isn't always the play. Especially if you have a hyper carry who doesn't really need you to also carry, and you have maybe even a mid who can kind of fill that role.
Like some spirit.
Right. And then you can just go the Shackle and Power Range talents, Power Shot.
Sure.
And then you just go Meteor Hammer, Blink. You can get a Yules even. I've seen that. Just basically the same items every 4 builds. Blink, Yules.
Yeah.
And then you can go Solar Crest even too. And she's really strong. I've been playing her a lot, and I don't know. This is a really heavy 4 Protect 1 meta, and when your carry is just getting dumpstered by a Windrunner, yeah, it feels real bad.
Okay, that makes sense. So the fact that she can actually go a bunch of different builds right now, depending on the game. She has a build to go to when she's popping off to win, and then she has a build to go when it's a normal game to still have a big impact. Phoenix.
Phoenix is just pretty busted right now. You can play him in almost every role. There's not really much else to say about him. I think his group fighting is crazy. He shoves out waves like crazy because all of his spells just do a ton of damage, and they're all AoE.
Yeah.
Sunray is, I don't know, it's a very unique ability. It does healing and does damage, so
Yep.
you can sustain pushes. He's very, very good with Faceless Void and a lot of the group fighters right now that stun stuff, so that's my argument for him being, yeah.
Yeah, Supernova being harder to kill at level 1 helps his early game, and then Phoenix late game has always been just insane. Like, it's always been impossible to kill.
And then people figured out this like Meteor Hammer build to kind of make up for the lack of damage Fire Spirits has now that they've nerfed it, you know, like 4 patches in a row or something.
Yeah.
So basically you have like 2 things to play off of. It's like you can Meteor Hammer waves, and then the next wave you can Fire Spirit it, and then you can spend all 4, and then you don't have to worry about the next wave. Whereas before you could spend 2 Fire Spirits and kill the entire wave basically.
Right. You know what I was thinking about, like, the whole Meteor Hammer thing on a lot of these heroes is that, let's say you go like Meteor Hammer Bane or Meteor Hammer Phoenix, you have these long cooldown ultimates that you're relying on, right? But if you have a Meteor Hammer, you can still show up to a fight and contribute in some meaningful way without the ultimate. It almost gives you like the ability to do stuff when you don't have the ulti. Whereas like before, if you go for that build and then some auras,
you're basically
or whatever,
adding in a 4th spell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an ultimate.
Exactly. And so like if you do a dive Meteor Hammer and you actually hit somebody and you get a Sunray off on them with some Fire Spirits, like they'll legit die to you.
Yeah, it's even like Chorus, it's crazy.
It's a lot. Yeah, percentage damage is a real kicker. Okay, so A tier we have Earth Spirit, Elder Titan, Miranda. I definitely
Earth Spirit is amazing. I just think he's a little unreliable. That's the only reason why I didn't put him in S tier. There are games where like, I don't know, these heroes kind of fell off, but you know, like Underlords or Dragon Knight, even Doom.
People that just don't die to you when you rotate.
Right, it feels pretty awful to roll on them, and they potentially just turn around and stun you, and then you look really dumb. But when he's good, and he's good in most games, in my opinion, especially like against Spirit heroes and caster backlines like Rubik, he counters Rubik super hard, because if he steals any of your spells, literally any of them, he does not get your remnants. So he has to play off of your remnants, which there's just not going to be many to play around. And yeah, he destroys like Oracle, all those defensive heroes.
Spirits, his brothers.
Yep.
Which are the mid laners that people are picking. All of them.
He's very similar to Tiny. You just kind of bounce back and forth between mid lane and a side lane. Usually you want to like try to make an appearance in your safe lane at some point, because it'll be easy kills if you just roll onto anyone. But yeah,
definitely one of the best like TP rotators too, which I think for playing fast right now is really good. I saw Crit was doing that, where he would show in a lane and then like walk into trees and then immediately TP bid and just roll on somebody from trees, and it's like it's too little time to react to it, and then it just puts that fear of God into people, where it's like, if this guy's missing for a second,
a good Pudge, except for Pudge sucks. So,
Pudge is terrible. It's like if this guy's missing for a second, he could be here. All right, ET. Is this actually a thing outside of competitive?
I was about to say, I actually don't think he's that great in pubs, just simply because he kind of falls into the same trap that Earth Spirit does, where he's pretty squishy, and if you overcommit, you just die. But unlike Earth Spirit, who can roll away every 4 seconds, ET, you're kind of just committed in. So when he's good, honestly, he's very good, like especially versus a lot of these hyper carries who rely a lot on armor, just the natural armor they get from agility, like TB and Morphling. I've seen a lot of people get flamed because you walk in and they die in like 3 seconds and they don't expect it. And then their team's just like, what are you doing? But honestly, it's not really their fault. It's the ET just being a very good counter.
Yeah.
But with that said, I think in competitive he is like S tier. In pubs, I would say he may even be like B tier, honestly. But if you know what you're doing, he's definitely like a solid pick.
Right.
Solid A.
With ET, it's always like, if you're an ET player and it's good, like you can cheese people with it, where they don't know what's going. Like you were saying, like they'll just die. People will just die to you. People will walk up to you and get hit in lane for 200 damage, and then you just run them down under their tower, and they're like, how is this guy killing me right now?
Right, and he's one of the best group fighters in the game since forever, and group fighting right now is very popular. So
yeah. Okay, Miranda.
Miranda, she looks really good in games, but I feel like she's just kind of a worse Windrunner. Like, I've even seen people go, like, this weird...
Meteor Hammer?
Only, like... No. They go, like, 2 points in the other stuff, and then they'll go, like, max leap and go MKB. And they play her very similar to a Windrunner.
I have seen that.
Sword do that.
I have seen that,
it's
actually.
It's not that great, though. It just looks... I don't know. I feel like the best way to play Miranda right now is you just focus on winning your lanes, you make an appearance mid a few times, maybe secure some ruins, throw an arrow or two, and then you just go like some Greaves, and you try to make Miranda feel a little bit more reliable, because, I don't know, if you're relying on hitting an arrow every time, it's not going to happen every game. Like, sure, some games you'll pop off and it'll look amazing, but she's not going to have that consistent impact that, like, say, I don't know, Rubik might have, or Phoenix.
I like the Yule's Meteor Hammer build on her. I feel like that's a really fun one. Like the Yule's just generally is like you can Yule somebody, leap away, and then hit like a long duration arrow on somebody. Like it makes that ability reliable. Like depending on the game, it depends what you need. Like if you need some guy to be a stunner, then Miranda can actually do that with some items. And I feel like she's strong enough in the early game and at like securing bounties with like Moonlight Shadow, for example, that like you will get net worth.
I will say one thing though, Miranda does go up a lot in value when you have heroes like Mars or Sand King on your team. But, you know, you can't always control what your offlaner picks. Unless you're playing with friends, in which case, you know, go for it.
Because they can set up for arrow, right?
Right.
Makes you reliable. I feel the same about Pudge, even though he's terrible. But, like, if there's heroes that can set up for Pudge Hook, like Bane, Ember Spirit, stuff like that.
Yeah, it actually makes the hero playable.
It's way easier to play, yeah. B tier, Lena, Clockwork, Earthshaker. So, I'm going to take a stab at this Earthshaker. I feel like Earthshaker is just always good. He's a stunner. He's a team fighter, arguably the best group fighter in the game, depending on, you know, the type of Echo Slam that you hit. It's got an insanely high skill cap to it, and it's instant lockdown, which is really nice too. But his laning kind of sucks, and he's countered by a lot of heroes. Like Rubik is super popular, Clockwork is popular.
If you look at all the other heroes I put in, right, their laning is very good. Whereas Earthshaker, it's a question mark, where sometimes you don't have people who actually utilize Fissure, or you're like playing to cut creeps and you're like playing so that your offlaner can have a game. But if you look at the other heroes, they're going to make your offlaner have a good game.
Yeah, they win the lane as opposed to 50-50ing the lane.
Right, trying to salvage it and cutting creeps and stuff.
Earthshaker is always a salvage hero.
Right, that's the only real argument for why he's not that great. But stuns are always amazing, so he still does have a place, and he can roam really hard on a lot of heroes who can't get away from him.
SF, for example.
You know, yeah, Quap, mobility heroes, all the spirits are really popular right now, so that's why he's just a little bit lower, just not as reliable.
Clockwork, I feel like he was just broken in the previous patches, and just the nerfs are hurting him. Like Rocket Flare duration has been reduced twice now.
I think it actually is that simple. I still think he's pretty good. He's like a standard pick, I guess you could use that word or something. But he's just, I don't know, he doesn't really pop off. I think the 4 role right now has kind of transformed into this like all-star role where, you know, you have like your Yapstors and stuff and, you know, RIP Jerax, but that's what I would imagine is like some Jerax, you know? Some guy popping off with Earth Spirit and whatnot. But Clockwork is just, he's just not a hero to really pop off. Maybe you're killing supports, but that's it. You know what I mean? That's your cap.
I say the same thing about Pudge, where it's like you can get 20 kills on that hero and it'll make him viable. It won't make him like solo carry the game. Whereas a lot of other heroes like will carry the game with a lot of kills, but Clockwork doesn't really. He just becomes tanky. But you're never like, oh, we fed the Clockwork too many items. Like, just ignore him. What is he going to do?
I see him as like a Centaur offlane. You're not sad you have a Clockwork as a 4, but you're not feeling that great in game.
He's not going to like hard carry you by any means. Like, there's no amount of farm kills he can get where he'll actually hard carry you. Whereas if you give Windrunner too many kills, she'll get an MKB and literally kill your carry solo. Okay, Lena.
Lena is basically Windrunner and Miranda, just
crappier version.
Yeah, just crappier version, but you're very all in on winning your lane. And then in the mid game, you're not that great, but I think if you win your lane, you're doing a good job. She is really good at doing that. So
yeah,
she's kind of like bottom, like I said. If you pair with like Sand King and stuff, you can stomp your lane so hard that you can actually just win the game and snowball. But you know, Podham's gonna go Greaves and stuff. Which not to say you can't go Greaves on Lena, but like everyone kind of goes this like Aether, Yule's, Blink type thing because it's very similar to Rubik, where if you get jumped, you're just dead either way. Like, you have to go in to do stuff. You can't just like stand around and do nothing. So you're kind of forced to play this way. Which, like I said, she's decent at doing it, but I don't know. I think the other heroes just do it better.
Okay, C tier, D tier. We'll kind of cover these quickly because most of them are pretty bad usually when you get to this tier, but. Tusk, Bounty Hunter, Snapfire, Nyx, Pango, Doom, Willow, Void Spirit, Skywrath. You were saying you don't like Tusk, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of 4 players like Tusk just because he's always popping in and out of the meta. I don't know, you can style on people and stuff, so like I said earlier with like Jerax and whatnot, those people like to pop off and style on people. He's pretty good at doing that, but he's just not that reliable. Some games, you think it's good, and then you're in the game and randomly you're just like feeding or not having that great of impact. Good
medallion builder, though. The One Punch Man build is pretty funny.
If you're snowballing, he's amazing, for sure.
My take on Bounty Hunter is that, like, he's very feast or famine. He either looks extremely good because you're winning fights and track looks amazing and he gets farm, or he's completely useless and basically just a moving ward.
Yeah, I think he's going up and down right now. People don't really know what to do with him. I think he fell off entirely, and now people are trying to figure out if he can be played as a 4 or what's going on with him. And I don't know. He does give a lot of information, and he's pretty annoying. You have to, place sentries, and there's only 10 now, so...
I actually want to remove Snapfire from this list because I feel like she's just a 5.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I put her there because people like playing her, but, as long as people can see that, that's enough.
Yeah. Nyx, good with Meteor Hammer, which people are building on a lot of heroes right now. He's on the come up a bit.
I mean, the main reason I put him in here in specialty is the word that stood out to me is like when he's good, he's definitely very good. Like against Puck or something, but like a lot of these heroes right now, I don't know. You just have an Earth Spirit, so
yeah, I feel that Earth Spirit will definitely carry games a lot harder. Once again, going back to like, will a popping off Nyx really carry you? No. Will an Earth Spirit? Yes, he'll single-handedly win team fights for you. Same with ET. He'll get an Aghanims and he'll have BKB and hit for 300 in every fight.
Funny enough, I think the next hero, Pango, is like the polar opposite. There's games where you actually see this guy almost solo carry games, like some Lukey.
Yeah.
But then there's times where you're rolling into walls or getting stunned or ruptured, and it just looks so bad.
You lose the lane horribly because he's such a terrible laner.
Yeah, he's so bad at laning.
Yeah, but Feast or Famine, like BH, in the same tier. Doom, his stock is just falling a lot, I think.
Yes, all around.
He needs a lot of levels to do the things that he used to do before.
I think he looks better, actually, as a 4 than anything else.
Than an offlaner. I like Doom. I think as a mid, he still would look pretty good, and I think as a 4, he would still look pretty good. But I think as an offlaner, he looks kind of terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he needs too many levels to do what you would want a core to do, but as a support, the stuff that his early level spells do is fine, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what I think about Doom as a support, it's like he dooms someone, and it doesn't feel that bad that that's all he's doing. Whereas a core, it's like you're just dooming someone.
You need to do a lot more than just that.
Right. Think about Sand King. He's constantly in and out, stunning people and group wiping, and then Doom is just like, I pressed my button.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Willow, I actually think this hero is really good. You did not rate this hero highly. I had her in like A tier.
I just think she has pretty underwhelming performances on average, but if you do put her in the right hands, like some guy on Liquid or something, Taika, then maybe this hero goes up in value.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She's just such a hard hero to really.
Dude, she does a lot. She does a lot of damage in the late game now. With this Bedlam damage. Like she does
real
fit
carry. That niche for sure. Like I was saying, you can pop off with her for sure. But I do put her lower because she is harder to pop off with.
She's super high skill. She's very like one of the most high skill 4s. Where like you have to be a Willow player.
Right. And that's why she's in here. It's not like I'm saying to never pick her, but she's definitely like pick her with caution. But if you're capable of doing it, then absolutely feel free to pick Willow. She's very good.
Void Spirit. I think
it's literally the same thing as Willow, to be honest.
I was going to say with Void Spirit, I think he's just a great hero. Like I think just he has stuns, disables, things that he puts on the ground that give vision, mobility, shield. He's hard to kill. He's great at picking. Like I think he just does a little bit of everything. He's a Mario.
My only problem with Void Spirit is if you miss your spells, he sucks. Literally, you'll do nothing if you miss all your spells. And then I just think he's a better mid. He needs levels quick, in my opinion. Yeah,
he can definitely pop off. He can definitely pop off way more as a mid and do the things that you want him to do. But still decent, still fine. Like if you pair him with like a really strong laner, you're a great Void Spirit. It'll work. Skywrath, I think this is similar to like the Pango, where if you're a Sky player, it'll work for you.
Yeah, you have to like really snowball the lanes because that's his strongest suit in my opinion. And then once you win a lane really hard, honestly, you have the capabilities of just running around and being such a nuisance. You can actually like solo carry a game if you are able to like bounce in and out and without getting jumped.
You full to zero people with
but he's like Lena or Rubik, where you are really squishy. So if you get jumped, like especially reverse stuns, he's very hard to play, like Sand Kings and stuff,
dude.
But if you're versus like PA and she can't like jump onto you or anything, then you actually have the capabilities of like just sitting on the outskirts of fights and blowing people up one by one.
Good with combos too, like good with the stunners, Legion, Sand King, Faceless Void, Axe. Yeah. I think Sky's on the come up. Like he needs some more buffs because I think the hero just like hasn't got the insane buffs that a lot of other heroes have. I think his buffs have been all pretty minor and not so generous.
I think just one good talent would honestly change him entirely.
Yes, yeah.
Just very generic talents.
These are very bad. The level 10 talent at least is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so D tier, we have Lion, Spiritbreaker, Enigma, Shadow Demon, Shadow Shaman, Pugna, Treant Protector, Grimstroke, Lion.
I think I can summarize this entire line in one phrase, to be honest.
Sure.
I just think they're better in other roles. A lot of them are just better as 5s, or maybe they're okay as some sort of 3 or 2 or something, like maybe Pugna, but most of them are just better as 5s. I don't know. They don't scale that well with farm, and in this meta, they're just not that great right now as a 4.
Yeah. I think Lion is the single best. If you really want to feed and be completely useless and disappoint your team, then this is probably the hero to do it. It's like Vengeful Spirit and Lion that are the greatest feeder heroes in the game, where you walk in, hex somebody, stun the ground, missing everybody, and then you die. Like, if you really want to grief your team. You think CM's a 4?
I don't think she's a 4, though. I was going to say, I do think she's in the same tier as, like, D. I think you could play her as a 5. I've seen, like, Febby do it, but it's a 5. I don't know. There's no other way around it.
So, okay, let's go through and pick the 5. So, Lion, probably a 5. Shadow Demon, 5. Shadow Shaman, 5. Pugna, 5. Treant Protector, 5. Grimstroke, 5. Crystal Maiden, 5. So that leaves Enigma and Spiritbreaker.
Yep. Spiritbreaker, he's just not that great right now. His laning
sucks. His laning is terrible.
His laning sucks, and his damage output is just not high enough. If you think about everyone else in this tier list so far, that's the main thing they all share, is they have a lot of damage they can output. But Spiritbreaker, just like, I hope I bash them. Like,
I feel like a lot of heroes can play fast now, though. It's like there's a Windranger running around, tiny with a blink, and outpost to TP2. Like, I feel like the fact that this guy can globally charge is not the most impressive thing anymore, unless you're literally in a competitive environment where playing.
Honestly, if they gave him a way for his charge to not get canceled by so many things, then he would actually be much better. But there's so many weird, like, tiny roots, or even like Mars W.
Dude, Gust and things. Yeah,
why?
Any movement ability, because it's considered moving.
I know. Give him something, you know?
And Enigma, oh man. I feel like it's either an Enigma patch or it isn't. You know, it's like the hero's either extremely good and like the best hero, or just mediocre.
Well, the thing about 4s too is when they're a greedy hero like Enigma or even like a Magnus, I don't know. They're just very risky picks, because if you aren't solo winning your team group fights, outside of that, what do you really offer? Enigma's like, you throw Eidolons down lanes, cool, I guess.
Tons of heroes have ways of doing that.
Of clearing waves, right? You know, Lena can just nuke it out, or Spirit even. So it's really not that great.
Yeah. I feel you. Enigma, when it's a good game and you can hold people, it looks great and it's cool. But, not all that reliable. Anyway, dog tier, or the dog poo tier, we have Pudge, Sniper, and Techies.
I thought Sniper was dead already, but apparently some guy proved me wrong the other day. Like, just yesterday, some guy picked 4 Sniper, like rank 800, and I was very upset, so please stop doing that.
Did we lose that game?
We lost, yes, despite owning very hard. We did lose, yes.
40% win rate. This ability, it sucks. It's very bad.
It's so bad now. These
abilities are also bad. They've all been nerfed. He does no damage. He sucks. All right.
He's just terrible. Pudge, I actually think... Pudge and Techies, I think in the right hands they can be okay. And I don't think they're great, but I think they're okay. They're like as good as Lion or something.
Oh, that's rough.
That's if you're playing really good.
That's
like,
rough.
Really, really, really good.
Here, let me just go ahead and click to this game and show you guys. So 16-8. Okay, look at the score. 12-4, 12-3 at 22 minutes. Look at the graph. Go ahead and check out this graph and see that the entire game we had a gold lead. Literally the entire game.
Pudge to have fun or to play around with their what's it called, persona. That's it.
I had fun this game until we lost, and then I was thinking, wow, I lost this game literally with a gold lead. I'm never picking this hero again, because if you're in any game with any other 4 and you have a gold lead, you can't lose.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You have some MKB and you're solo killing people. I couldn't do anything on Pudge because he sucks.
Funny enough, I think Techies is actually good right now if you're good at it, especially, but I actually think it's a 5. I've seen a lot of people playing it as a 5 in NA and C, and they're making it look very, very annoying.
Yeah.
You just kind of go take camp farm from people, like you run into the enemy jungle and you just blow up their camps, and then you leave mines there, so when they go to kill it later, they die. It's weird, but it works. I mean, I don't know. I hate techies. He's like a Mario Party mini.
It's bad, guys.
Dota.
Nobody pick techies. It's terrible. Please, please don't pick techies in our pubs. Oh God. All right, that's it. No other heroes. That's all the 4s. Let us know if you agree or disagree, or if Newsham should get his mic out of the toilet next time we record. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you and hope to see you in another video.